Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Health Hack Thursday. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Neliza Patterson, a holistic wellness advocate, and I specialize in helping postpartum moms overcome exhaustion, brain fog, and overwhelm. Joining me today is my incredible co-host, Meghan Calido, a renowned herbalist and a business owner. We're also thrilled to have our guest speaker, Bethany Bosworth, a registered nurse and a colon hydrotherapist. As a team of health and wellness experts, we're here to dive into today's important topic. So our topic today might be a little too familiar for some of you, constipation. So now you might be thinking, I go to the bathroom every day, so I'm good. But that's not always the case. Even if you're having daily bowel movements, you could still be constipated if your digestive system isn't functioning properly. So I'll start by diving into the signs and symptoms of constipation and how it might be affecting your overall health. And then I'll hand it over to Meghan, who will share some fantastic home remedies using herbs to help alleviate constipation. And of course, Bethany will offer her professional insights into maintaining a healthy digestive system. So let's talk about a few key signs of constipation and toxic buildup in your body. So if any of you feel any of this, have you ever gone a day or two without bowel movements? Or maybe when you do go, it feels like you have to strain or it's hard and lumpy, like little pebbles or even bigger rocks. Maybe your stools are loose sometimes and you're feeling bloated or uncomfortable in your stomach area. Or you do go, but it just doesn't feel like you're emptying completely. And then we've also got the less obvious signs like feeling fatigue or sluggish all the time, having skin issues like acne or rashes, dealing with headaches or brain fog, noticing joint pains, stiffness, or even bad breath or body odor, and mood swings, feeling irritable for no reason at all. So all these are all signs that your body might be dealing with inflammation and toxicity, often starting with poor gut health. So when your waste builds up, those toxins can really re-enter your bloodstream and which can cause all sorts of issues. And if we don't address them, this can lead to some serious health problems down the line. But here's some good news. We're here to talk about it and how to fix it in today's live. We'll dive into some simple and natural strategies to support your gut health, reduce inflammation, and get your digestive system working properly again. So stick around as we explore practical solutions to improve your gut health and help you feel better from the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Meghan.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Melissa. And so this is something I deal with daily when I'm speaking with clients. It's the first thing that we have to address is their gut health. And I get really into it as far as how often are you going? The answer I get most often is I'm regular. And I'm like, what does that look like? Because I had the same answer. And for me, that looked like once every other day or once every 3 days. And that was regular. So when my doctor asked, it was, oh, regular. And then it just got kind of pushed to the side that they didn't realize, I didn't realize that that was a problem and that that's not normal. And so, like, I work with a lot of people that are going once a week or they're toggling between constipation and diarrhea. So, the reason why it's so important to get that moving is because our liver cannot dump if we are not going to the bathroom every single day. And so when the stool is staying in us, our body's actually reabsorbing all the toxins and sending them back through to the liver to again get discarded. But also we're getting in all the toxins that we're normally getting in anyway. So it really creates, like you said, a lot of brain fog, a lot of inflammation, migraines. Like usually once we get people going to the bathroom every single day, the headaches and the migraines just disappear. They have more energy. It's just an amazing thing. So the first few things I have people do are things that you would have at home. And I always have people start the day off as soon as you wake up with warm lemon water. That's going to wake up your digestive system. It's going to allow your liver to want to dump. And you'll notice like within 20, 30 minutes after drinking that, you're going to have a bowel movement, which is absolutely amazing. That's what we're going for. The other thing I have people do is to drink slippery elm 1 to 3 times a day. This comes in a loose powder. You mix it up and just chug it down. The longer it sits, the thicker it gets. And it gets thick so that it can soothe all the mucous membranes. So it's a really amazing product, or it's a really amazing herb. It helps to heal leaky gut. It helps to keep digestion moving. Usually those two things will work. I also love to have people add in a probiotic. Our Biomedic is absolutely amazing for keeping digestion going the way it should. And so even though they have to start off with all these things to make sure that they're going, and then if they're still not going after doing the warm lemon water and the slippery elm, I also have them add in warm prune juice at night, and that will really get things going in a good direction. And then once the gut is healing with the probiotic, we're able to let some of those things go and not have to do them every day. But just to get it moving to begin with, warm lemon water in the morning, slippery elm during the day, 1 to 3 times, and warm prune juice at night. And you should be going like a champ. We often have people that are toggling between being constipated and having diarrhea. And what happens is that that stool can get stuck and lodged because the longer it sits there, the more moisture is leaving it and the harder it's going to get. Um, and then it can't move out of the digestive system. And so the stool that's coming from behind that has to stay liquid in order to be able to move out of the body. And so it's really important to get that cleaned out with a good colon cleanse. I'm going to turn it over to Bethany because I think she might have the best advice ever on this.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I love your recommendations, Megan. And for just keeping the digestive system going, just keeping yourself pooping every day is so important. And I like to give it in terms of how many bananas are we going for? We have, if we're eating a normal amount, we want to be passing at least a banana to 2 bananas worth of soft formed stool every day, ideally. And so that is the goal, right? And sometimes people are backing up and then they get extra accumulated and then they start to feel the pain in the gut. And I have a lot of clients that have been to many different doctors. They've gone through colonoscopies. They have what they say tried everything, and many times they've even been to the ER sometimes because they have become so impacted. And pretty much the only thing the doctors at the ER will say is, well, go home and drink Marilax for the next 3 days. It's that's very limited tools that the docs have, but the colon hydrotherapy is such a healing modality, and it is where anybody, not just constipated people, can benefit from it. And it is a safe modality. And when you have somebody that is trained and certified in colon hydrotherapy, I recommend that you can find someone through the International Association for Colon Hydrotherapy. And this is where we go in and we actually are mechanically removing the stool using warmed, sanitized water. And it's similar to an enema. And if you've ever heard of enemas or had an enema, the old-fashioned way is to hang an enema bag, and then you have a tube that comes out and you have a small rectal nozzle that is inserted into the rectum just a short distance, and then the water is infused. What the colonic does is it does that process, but over and over and over again for about 40 to 50 minutes on a specially designed table. And the water enters the colon, and then it stimulates the contractions of the colon, and it begins the removal process. And there's a lot of nervousness around colon hydrotherapy, but when you find a really good, skilled colon hydrotherapist that can guide you through it, it is really powerful and impactful, because what's happening is you're not only removing and stimulating the body to release the impacted stool, you're also cleaning the interior lining of the colon. So you can be releasing candida, you can be releasing the parasites, and also you're refreshing the mucosal layer. Our entire digestive system is lined with mucosal cells, which are important because they're making a layer of mucus that will protect the lining of the digestive system. But that can build up over time, and it can get thick. And this is where the bacteria can harbor both the good and the bad bacteria. But when I've seen plaques of mucus coming out, and you can imagine that if you have plaques of mucus on the lining of your colon, where nutrients are supposed to be absorbed, where water is supposed to be absorbed, then you're going to have some malabsorption. You're going to have some problems with absorption. And combine that with the toxins that we were talking about. Meghan was talking about how the toxins get recirculated over and over again in the body, and then they begin to build up. This is where we start to see the inflammation. You start to see those effects like a lot of fatigue. So combine, you're not getting very much nutrition from the food in the first place, and then you're not absorbing it well. And even maybe you're not even absorbing some of that water that is coming through. So the colon hydrotherapy, it is really important that you plan on at least 2 to 3, and really ideally 3 colonics is where it's at, because I compare it to chiropractic. If your spine is out of alignment for some time, for years, and you go to a chiropractor for one adjustment, it is not going to be enough to get you back into alignment. So if you are looking for colon hydrotherapists, and they say, yeah, just come in and just do one, and then they don't talk about a series, then I would suggest looking for another one, or talking to them about, the benefits of doing a series. I've had people that are so impacted that we don't even see any release on the first session, and it's not until the second one and the third one, and then people at the third one, they'll say, now I understand why you said third time's a charm, because this is where we really can get the colon has had some opportunity to remember what it's supposed to do, because we've moved out those really hard rocks. And so chronic constipation has long-term consequences, and not only because of the toxic buildup and the inflammation in your body, but what it actually does locally to the colon. It can cause laxity in the colon, and this is because as the masses will build up in the colon, and the colon will stretch, but if it stays stretched like that, it can become lax. And I've heard doctors tell their patients, oh no, colon hydrotherapy can cause, megacolon or this lax colon issue. And truly, it's not the colon hydrotherapy that causes that. It is the chronic holding of these large rocks and masses in the colon. And so I'm just really blessed to be able. Oh, okay. Let me talk about some other the long-term consequences. There's anal fissures when you're straining a lot. We've got hemorrhoids, but we also have a situation that's called diverticuli, which are little pouches that form off of the colon wall. And these can accumulate fecal matter, and then they become inflamed. And then we have diverticulitis, And that's a very, very painful situation. And chronic constipation is behind pretty much all of, if not, well, a large portion of irritable bowel syndrome, leaky gut, the candida buildup. So many things are tied to the digestive system. So, Neliza, I'll let you take it over. And if you have any questions for me, I'm sure there's more that I could add. But I have a couple other suggestions that I recommend for my clients, but go ahead.
Yeah, as you were talking, I was thinking about, you know, as you were saying the other symptoms of having a digestive issue, what happens when somebody has like hemorrhoids or these like diverticulitis or gastritis that causes like stomach bloatiness and inflammation? What are your thoughts in doing a colon hydrotherapy?
Well, once someone has been diagnosed with diverticuli, they cannot have a colonic. It's contraindicated. So that's a really good reason why we want to get ahead of it. If you're having chronic constipation, like it takes decades for things sometimes to develop. And so we just want to get ahead of it for sure.
Okay. And then what happens with somebody with like hemorrhoids? Is that,
Okay,
you know, somebody who has hemorrhoids, they're gonna be like, oh man, this sounds like painful because, you know, having hemorrhoids is painful. So would they go, or what are your recommendation on that?
so we can have either internal hemorrhoids that we don't know about or external hemorrhoids that we know about. And really, hemorrhoids are not contraindicated for colon hydrotherapy, but they are, of course, made worse. They're created by the straining and constipation. And so we want to we want to be we want to be aware of where we're at with the hemorrhoids. If they're bleeding, we're not going to do
Mhm.
colon hydrotherapy. We want to wait at least a week to 2 weeks after any bleeding has occurred, and and we can go more gently. The system that I have is gravity fed, so it's very gentle anyways, but it's good to know about it, and it can irritate the hemorrhoids a little bit. This is a plastic tube basically that will sit. It's only going to sit inside with the open system that I have, the open colonic system. It only sits inside the rectum about the length of your pinky and about the width of your pinky. And so it can be irritating, but it's not, to have hemorrhoids is not a reason not to do a colonic.
Okay. Um, so I guess this might be Megan's answer, but if somebody did have hemorrhoids and they do want to support their gut and want to do a colonic, what's your recommendation of how they can help that so they can go get a colonic?
So a lot of the times we're dealing with hemorrhoids because we're straining, like there's so much strain. So just simply doing the things that you need to, the warm lemon water, the slippery elm, the warm prune juice, to make it so that we're not straining as much and you won't have the problem of hemorrhoids. Like they heal a lot quicker when we're supporting our body and making sure that everything is nice and hydrated and able to just kind of come right out without a problem. So it's amazing because, like, honestly, I'll talk about myself here, but I used to be one of those people that would sit in the bathroom for 10, 15 minutes, like to go every other day, but still now with all the support I've been doing and the little lifestyle changes, I am in and out in like a minute or two. Like it's so amazing. Like there's no straining. You feel the urge to go and you're just able to go. And it's such a different feeling from, having to sit and read and like concentrate. My grandmother calls it concentrate. I got to go concentrate. It's just nice to just walk in there, go do what you have to do and leave. And So if we're doing all the support for our digestive system, then, we're not going to be straining and creating more of those hemorrhoids. But there's a whole reason hemorrhoids happen. And yeah, that's a whole nother topic. So, well, I mean, it's all connected. So, yeah, but that's as deep as I'll get into it right now, is that if we're supporting the body, then we're not having to strain, then we don't have as many problems with hemorrhoids. And witch hazel is a great one to have on hand for hemorrhoids. It is a astringent herb, so it's going to help tighten and tone the skin. So that's a good one to use if you're having external hemorrhoids.
I also have a few more recommendations for avoiding constipation and while you're constipated. And of course, the number one thing and the free thing that you can do is to drink your water. We want to make sure that you're getting enough hydration. We want to make sure that you're shooting for at least half your body weight in ounces every day. And I often talk about adding electrolytes to your water as well. I have many clients that say, I'm drinking a ton of water and I feel dehydrated and I'm peeing all the time. And so if you have reached a point where you're drinking so much water that you're diluting the electrolytes in your blood, your body needs to get rid of that water very quickly. And that's when you see your urine is very light colored. It might be almost clear. That's a really good sign that you need electrolytes, because you've done such a great job of drinking your water that your body can't even hold on to it anymore and your kidneys are flushing now. So definitely incorporate some electrolytes into your day and into your free water. The other thing that I would add in is we have different forms of magnesium, and magnesium is used for hundreds of different functions in the body. But if you are specifically you're addressing constipation, I really love magnesium oxide. It's an oxygenated form of magnesium, and it's actually only about 4% bioavailable. So you'll see magnesium oxide doses are a lot higher than like magnesium citrate or glycinate. And this is not what you're taking to, supplement your magnesium for your whole body, but it's a great local osmotic laxative, but it's not going to cause dependence on it per se. It is just going to recruit water into the colon. And so I love Oxy Powder by Global Healing. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it through me. I offer, discounts, and it's a really lovely way to, and I have many clients that will say, oh, I don't want to be dependent on anything. And so that's something that I like to address, because I see everyone as perfect and you don't need fixing, but some people's bodies just need a little extra support. And so it's like any supplement that you might take, we can just see it as one of those lovely things that we're doing for our bodies, for our self-care. The other thing that I really recommend, for especially for people that are chronically constipated, but for anybody, organic smoothies, the meal replacements, the juices, this is pre-digested for you. So your body doesn't have to take a lot of energy to digest it. It's already been dehydrated in powder form, or you've done your juicing. We can really up the level of nutrition and fuel that's going in your body without asking how much energy does it take to get a bite from here to the other end. That's a lot of muscle contractions, a lot of energy. So we want to really energize the bowel. We want to energize the contractions without having to depend on the fuel that's actually coming from the food itself. So the other thing, I love that you talked about probiotics. That is very important. When you're doing colon hydrotherapy, you want a very high potency, and I'm talking about 50 billion in the CFUs, the colony forming units. That is a minimum a day. And even when I'm working with people on their colonic day, I want them up over 100 billion. And I really love to have a good diversity of strains. So when you're doing colon hydrotherapy, especially, we want at least 15 or more strains for the good diversity. And the issue of fiber, a lot of doctors will say you just need more fiber in your diet. If you're already constipated, do not add fiber supplementation, because it's just like adding cars to a congested freeway. So I won't even recommend fiber to be added into someone's diet until they've had 3 colonics with me, because we want to make sure that they're really moving and grooving before we add in the fiber. And when you have fiber, make sure it's organic, make sure it's a really good blend. The company that we all work with, Purium, has the best fiber blend I've ever seen. It's incredible, their daily fiber. And let's see what else. We want to eat a lot of high water content fruit. This is, just eat a lot of the fruit. Avoid drying foods. We're going to avoid a lot of crackers, a lot of chips, those salty things. Those are going to dehydrate you. And then also we're going to avoid dairy, and especially cheese can be constipating. And also we're going to avoid bananas. So bananas are part of that brat diet that you eat after you've been really sick with diarrhea, because it helps to slow down things, and it can be a little bit constipating. We also have aloe vera juice, which is another way. Megan, tell me, how do you recommend people use aloe vera in your practice?
Yeah, so I love the aloe digest. That goes into at least one of my shakes or juices a day. But aloe is absolutely, it's a mucilaginous herb. Like if you were to take apart an aloe plant, you can see that gel kind of holds together and sticks together. It's really super mucusy, and that's just going to line your digestive system and your digestive tract, and just bring a lot of it'll help reduce inflammation. So it brings a lot of soothing to the digestive system, keeps everything moving really nice. I have yet to try the Aloe 40X, and I am getting that. I just got that today in this shipment, so I'm so excited to try that myself. I love that you mentioned magnesium. It is used for every enzymatic action in the body, and we are getting so much stolen from us daily, just living our lives. Whenever we come into contact with a chemical through smell or through touch, our body sends in magnesium. And so like if we start to run out of magnesium for those vital organs, our body starts to steal it from, we have 2 erectors down the middle of our back, and our body will start to steal from those erectors for our vital organs. And then you're ending up with a lot of back tightness and stiffness and cramping in your back. And people think that they have, these back issues, when really the problem is a lack of magnesium. But I absolutely love supplementing magnesium. Ionic Elements goes into a drink every single day. It's a great source of magnesium, and all the other elements that you need to be able to utilize that magnesium. And then you talked about not being able to absorb nutrients. And I just wanted to share a way you can check that is by looking at your tongue. And so you stick out your tongue, and if you see all these little wavy lines around the side of your tongue, then you're having a problem absorbing nutrition. And a colonic would definitely be amazing at helping get all that gunk out so that you can absorb nutrition. So those are 2 things I thought while you were talking.
This is so wonderful. Thank you, ladies, for your expertise as you both talked. It sounds like you're talking to me as your patient, because, I've always had gut issues, gastritis, all my adult life for almost 20 years. And I had those back problems that you were talking about. And I do have the magnesium oxide. And obviously I'm trying to support my gut through this superfoods. And I did do a colonic and had major symptoms, because I had no idea that I still had internal hemorrhoids. I haven't had internal hemorrhoids since 2021, and then the colonic did kind of trigger that. So with everything that you guys have said has been really helpful for somebody in my position. And yeah, I had no idea with that back pain. I started having major back pain when this started happening again, and the bloatiness. And it's funny because I never thought that I was constipated, right? That's what we're talking about. And I will say I never thought that I was, because I would go to the bathroom in the morning, and I would go 2 to 3 times, and I never felt like I was really straining. But then you don't really know what's going on internally, right? You don't know if your body is actually internally straining, even though you're not like pushing hard. So with all the issues that I was having with my gut, it triggered it. So, I'm so happy that you guys are here and sharing these amazing tips and advice. And so, do you have anything else that you'd like to add, Bethany?
Yes, I was just thinking about some people might say, well, I have the opposite problem where I'm like really quickly after I eat, I'm going to the bathroom and it's not formed. A lot of people out there with chronic diarrhea, the other problem, and that is often it's an issue of malabsorption and dysbiosis. So the gut biome is out of balance. And so what I also want to say is that independently of colonics, if maybe you're not a good candidate for colonics, and I can actually address a couple of the contraindications. I can talk about how I screen clients to see if they're a good candidate. But anybody can really benefit from the superfood system, the incredible transformation system. That system, independently of colonics, will completely transform and reform the digestive system. So even if you're the one that has the opposite problem of the soft or loose stool, this is something that we can help with colonics, and we can also help with the superfood system and getting the toxins out. We've got to remove the toxins. We've got to remove the parasites and the heavy metals, the glyphosate, the pesticides, the herbicides. But real quickly, just talking about if you're a good candidate for colonics, I always ask, do you have any major digestive diagnoses? Have you ever had any surgeries, tears, or ruptures to your colon or rectum? You won't be able to have a colonic. And if you have any conditions of the kidney or the liver, that would prevent you from being able to have a fair amount of fluid come in if you're on any kind of fluid restrictions, because when you're on the colonic table, you will absorb a lot of water. And then I also, of course, anybody with active cancers, we're not treating lupus. And of course, I already mentioned diverticulitis. If you've had a colonoscopy or an abdominal surgery within the past 6 weeks, you should not be receiving a colonic. And if you're pregnant, I would not have that. It's contraindicated as well. And let's see, anything else? Oh, if you're anemic, if you're severely anemic, we're going to wait until you have your iron levels back up. And so basically, you just want to find a really good colon hydrotherapist that's gonna screen you and make sure that you're a safe candidate. So thank you.
Yes, that's very, very important. I thought I had found the right one, and I was extremely surprised when I had talked to you, and you're like, did they say this? Did they ask this? I'm like, they did not ask. I was just in there and then out. And I had nothing, no aftercare or anything like that. And, I didn't even get a call to see how I was doing. So yeah, it's really, really important to find your specialist, and that goes for anything that people specialize in, even therapy. You can have the wrong therapist if they don't specialize in whatever that you're dealing with. And as well as, herbalists in aromatherapy, you want to make sure that even though they specialize in it, you want to make sure that they do have these protocols for you and have a, precursor and then an aftercare. And if they don't have that for you, then go somewhere else. You know, I'm one of those. I should have known better, but thank you, ladies, so much for your expertise. And I hope that this helped people that is watching and listening to us. And, you know, we're here to just really support everybody as much as we can. We are a group of amazing wellness community that is here to support however we can. You know, we're all different and, you know, we have different offerings and services, but we are here to support as much as we can, and we're all together, hand in hand, to help you however we can. So, is there anything else you'd like to add, Megan, to close it out?
I mean, we definitely covered a ton, and it's all a good start. The gallbladder and the thyroid are responsible for that action of moving things along. And so, like, really, if all the things aren't helping, then we have to also support those organs and get them doing the things that they're supposed to be doing with nutritional support. So yeah, that's I think this is an amazing call. I learned so much about colon hydrotherapy, and like I need to get over to Bethany ASAP. I definitely want to try. I don't think I'm going to find a good practitioner locally for this. So
No,
like looks like we're going to Colorado.
I'm going with you.
Yes.
So thank you again, everybody. And, you know, we still are, if you want to still join, it might be a little, I'm not quite sure exactly how fast the shipment will be, but we do have our gut reset that we're going to do. It'll be great to have this video in there. And again, there's just so much support. As you can see, there's experts in there, and there's far more. There's, you know, detox specialists and regenerative health practitioners. I mean, we're all here to truly, truly support you the best way we can to really get that optimal health. And thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, we will talk soon. And